You know, the new battlefield for direct-to-consumer brands, it isn't really about product anymore. It's all about data. By 2026, the only way to win is going to be by being smarter and faster with analytics. So today, we're going to break down exactly how the fastest-growing D2C brands are using data to completely dominate their markets.
So let's just start with a quick reality check. This stuff isn't a nice-to-have feature anymore. The truth is, if you're not using sophisticated analytics, you're pretty much forced to compete on price alone. And that's just a race to the bottom, right? Margins get crushed, and honestly, businesses just don't make it. The stakes are incredibly high. Data isn't just an edge, it's your survival kit.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to look at this growing gap between brands that really get data and those that don't. Then we'll dive into the actual science of how to win. We'll uncover your new secret weapon in predictive analytics and see why real-time data gives you this almost unfair advantage. And then we'll wrap up with a 90-day plan to get started and take a little peek into the future, which is all about personalization.
Okay, let's jump right into our first section, the D2C analytics divide. This is all about understanding this fundamental split that's happening in the market right now. It's the real reason you see some brands with just explosive growth, while others seem to be, just running in place, or worse, falling behind.
I mean, the sheer scale of the opportunity here is just staggering. We're talking about a $1.2 trillion market, and it's growing 35% year over year. But here's the thing. That growth isn't lifting all boats equally. A rising tide can't save a ship that has holes in it, and not having data, well, that's a very big hole.
So this really breaks it down into the two paths a brand can take. Over on the left, you've got the brand that's just guessing. They've got a sky-high customer acquisition cost, their margins are paper-thin because they're competing on price, and they're just stuck. But on the right, the data-driven brand, they've optimized their acquisition cost, they have healthy margins from competing on value, and they scale profitably. This is the divide we're talking about.
So, how do you get on the right side of that divide? Well, it's not about luck, it's about science. Specifically, it's the science of winning by really understanding your customer behavior data. What they're doing, why they're doing it, and what they're going to do next. The very first piece of the puzzle is this metric right here, customer acquisition cost, or CAC. Put simply, how much does it cost you in marketing and sales to get one new person to buy something? If you don't know this number, you're literally flying blind. Understanding and lowering this is the first step to building a truly profitable business.
And this is exactly why it's so powerful. The moment you start tracking CAC, you see a chart like this. You realize, whoa, wait a minute, it only costs us $5 to get a customer who finds us organically, but it's $30 through an influencer. See, that's not an opinion, it's a fact. Now you can make a smart decision about where to invest your marketing budget for the best return. The data just gives you the answer.
All right, the next core idea is customer lifetime value, or CLV. This shifts your thinking from just a single transaction to the entire relationship. It's not about that first sale, it's about the second, the third, and all the profit you're going to make from that one customer over years. The goal is to get customers whose lifetime value is way, way higher than what it cost you to get them in the first place.
And here's the payoff. This isn't just theory. Brands that simply review and optimize these key metrics every single week see a massive 30 to 40% lift in revenue per customer every year. And the best part? That's without spending a single extra dollar on ads. It's pure efficiency. Okay, so once you've really mastered the basics of what's happening now, you get to unlock the next level. And this is where it gets really, really exciting. We're talking about predictive analytics, using your past data to start making incredibly accurate guesses about the future. One of the most powerful things you can do is churn prediction. So instead of waiting for a customer to leave and then wondering why, machine learning can actually analyze their behavior and flag them when they're at a high risk of churning before it happens. It could be something subtle, like a customer who used to buy weekly now buys every 10 days. A machine catches that, but a human might miss it. This lets you reach out and win them back before they're gone for good.
But does it work? Oh yeah, absolutely. For every single dollar a company invests in a targeted campaign to save these at-risk customers, they get about $10 back in recovered revenue. That's a 10-to-1 return on investment. That's a massive impact on your bottom line.
And churn is just the beginning. You can use this same tech to predict a customer's lifetime value the second you acquire them. Or you can predict their next purchase to send perfectly timed marketing. You can even predict the success of expanding into a new country and cut your failure rate by a staggering 70%. It's like having a crystal ball for your business. It's amazing.
Now let's talk about speed. Because in the 2026 market, being right just isn't enough. You have to be right and you have to be fast. This section is all about how modern analytics gives you a massive, massive advantage in decision-making speed.
You know the old way of making decisions? It took like 4 to 6 weeks. You'd collect data, analyze it, build a presentation, have a meeting, and then you'd finally act. By that point, the market has already changed. The modern way, powered by real-time dashboards, shrinks that entire cycle down to just 24 hours. You see it, you act on it, and you measure the results instantly.
Okay, I know this can all sound a little bit overwhelming, but it really doesn't have to be. So we're going to shift gears from the what and the why to the how. This section lays out a really clear, actionable plan to get you started on this whole journey in the next 3 months. So here's the roadmap. Month 1 is all about the foundation. Get your basic tracking in place, connect your data sources, and build one simple dashboard. In month 2, you start to integrate more data streams and look at customer cohorts. See how customers who bought in January behave differently from those who bought in February. Then, by month 3, you're ready to run your very first experiment, based on a real data insight. See? It's a step-by-step process.
But what if you want to start even sooner? Here are 4 things you can literally do this week. 1. Install Google Analytics 4. It's free. 2. Create a simple dashboard that shows where your revenue is coming from. 3. Find the one channel that's working best. And 4. Just double the budget for that one channel. It's a simple test that can give you an immediate win and build some real momentum.
And finally, let's look ahead. If data is the foundation, then personalization is the skyscraper you build on top of it. The future of D2C isn't about shouting the same message to everyone. It's about whispering the right message to each individual customer. That old, generic, one-size-fits-all marketing, it's over.
And the results really do speak for themselves. Personalizing the customer journey has a huge impact. We're talking a 30% lift just from tailoring the web experience, a 40% lift from personalizing email content, and a massive 50% lift from smarter product recommendations. I mean, these numbers are absolute game changers.
So here's the crucial point in all of this. Data and technology are incredibly powerful tools. They take all the guesswork out of your big decisions, but at the end of the day, they're still just tools. The real magic, the true competitive advantage, comes when you combine that data with human insight, with strategy, with wisdom. It's the combination of the machine and the mind that wins. And that leaves us with one final question to think about. As you look at your own business, your own brand, I want you to ask yourself honestly, are your decisions, is your growth, is your strategy built on just luck, on hoping for the best? Or is it built on the repeatable, scalable, and predictable foundation of science?